God bless you. Let us continue our study in understanding the evolution theory and the creation theory that Bible talks about. According to evolution theory, about 20 billion years ago, there was a Big Bang, and the whole cosmic world came in existence. About 4.6 billion years ago, Earth was formed, and about 30 million years ago, the humankind came in, the human came in existence. They developed from a single simple organism to complex organism. Well, according to Bible and account, God created heavens and earth about 6,000 years ago, and about 4,400 years ago, the great flood of Noah came. And today we are going to focus on the fossils, couple of fossils, and we are going to talk about the crust, the earth crust. We know that the earth is the earth we know, but if we slice the earth, just like if you slice an apple or orange, there are different layers, and in those layers, when scientists finds the fossil, that's how they decide that how old that particular layer is, and that is how they are deciding how old the earth is. Now, before we go further into that detail, I want to explain you one thing, that when the water settles, the sediment settles in a riverbed, it creates the layer upon layer upon layer, and then normal theory is the most bottom layer is the oldest layer. So if you find anything, then you know that how old it is in that layer. And normally we understand the top layer is the youngest layer of the sediment. However, we need to understand one clear difference. When the water is a still water, it's a stagnant water, that could be true for the sediments. The bottommost layer could be the oldest layer. However, in a running water, if the water is flowing, the 4, 5, 6 layer can form in the same time. If you have a heavy snowfall on your car, and if you slice the snow, you can see the layers. Even the snow has fallen overnight, you can see a very distinctive layers. In the same way, if the water is flowing, not necessarily whatever you find on the top layer of the sediments is the youngest, and whatever you found on the bottom or the deepest layer is the oldest fossil you have found. Because in a flowing water, the layers can be formed, 4, 5, 6 layers can be formed simultaneously. So keep this in mind. And then we are going to talk something about index fossil. What is an index fossil? You know that in a geological column, every geological column, if you take it, you will find a limestone. You will find different layers. And then how the scientists figure out that how old this particular layer is. They believe that based on the fossil we found in that layer, that's how we know that how old that particular layer is. And that is called index fossil. It is not the other way around. If you know the age of the layer, then you can say that this fossil is that old. No, it is other way around. If you find a fossil in particular layer, then scientists or evolution theorists believe that that layer is particularly that old, and that is how they describe how old the earth crust is. Let us talk about the trilobite. The trilobite fossils has been found everywhere, and it's based on the trilobite. Scientists believe that trilobite came in existence about 500 to 600 million years ago. So if in any layer, if you find a trilobite, then scientists would say that this crust is 500 to 600 million years old. However, if the trilobite is that old and it is very primitive, then science is not able to explain that why trilobite has a most complex eyeball. Trilobite is a very primitive fossil, but it has a very complex eyeball. Now, if from complex organism to a simple organism, if the evolution happens from a simple organism to complex organism, how come the trilobite that came in existence 500 to 600 million years ago has a so complex eyeball? Not only that, in 1968, scientists or researchers has found the footprint. 1968, and in a 1968 footprint they found the trilobite. If trilobite existed only 500 600 million years ago, how can you have a trilobite was found in a footprint in 1968? Not only that, coastal waters of Florida and Mexico today, in a coastal waters of Florida and Mexico, you are able to find a trilobite. So it is not that we found in a certain crust a trilobite, so that crust is 100 million years old. Because trilobite is still found in coastal waters of Florida and Mexico. Talk about graptolite. The scientists and evolutionists believe that graptolite was in existence 410 million years ago. 410 million years. After trilobite came graptolite. However, graptolite has been found still alive in South Pacific waters. And there is no explanation for that. The another fossil that we are that evolutionists are using called a lobed fin fish, and according to index fossil, lobed fin fish developed around 325 to 410 million years ago, and this lobed fin fish has some kind of leg and fin together. You will be surprised. About 15 to 20 years only ago, scientists have or researchers has found lobed fin fish in Indian Ocean. Still today, Indian Ocean, there is lobed fin fish. So based on these fossils, scientists are saying that particular crust or the layer of the earth is old by 300 million years ago, 400 million years old, or the 600, 500, 600 million years old crust, which is not true, because those fossils, I'm just giving you 3 examples right now: trilobite, graptolite, and lobed fin fish. They are still found today. Friends, according to Bible, the earth is about 6,000 years old. And there are so many evidence that can prove that what Bible is saying, the timeline of earth creation, is true. And the same God who created heaven and earth want to have a relationship with you. God bless you. Thank you.